For this one, it's a little bit different in the tools. We're gonna need a screwdriver, and I always have a flat screwdriver available too because it seems like there's always something that needs to be pried. A set of Allen wrenches, of which I only need one, but this helps me to keep up with them. Some needle nose pliers. Whoops, where are they? There they are. And even though I don't believe I will need them, I did go ahead and bring my pliers and my wrench, excuse me, from the last bathroom, because you never know when you'll need it. And also a towel, and then the cartridge, the replacement cartridge for this bathroom, or for this sink rather. So, what is the first thing that we do? Oh yeah, turn off the water. I'm very fortunate on this sink also that my pipes are exposed again, so it's real easy to turn those off. Just again, turn it all the way to the right. And now I'm doing the hot water. You may have to dig around a little bit under your sink to get to your pipes, but just again be sure that you turn them off, because otherwise whenever you take your faucet apart you will have water come spewing out at you. Now, this is another one of those mysterious water faucet manufacturers that does not put their name anywhere very apparent, so once again you go around to the hardest place to find, and that's where it's going to be. Now, my camera's not good enough for you to read it, but the name is etched back here, very tiny and very hard to read, but this is a Grohe. And the problem with this one was that it's been leaking. Actually, you can see probably the puddle of water that's gathered around it. It's been leaking out from this area right here, and what's happened is that the gaskets that are in there they're old. They're 15 years old or so, and that's pretty old in gasket years. So the next question on this is, how in the world do you get that top piece off? And with a lot of these, they have a really neat little thing. It's a little dot right there, and when you pull that little dot off, which by the way, before I do this, I'm going to be very smart. I'm going to plug the sink with the towel to make sure nothing goes down the drain that I'll regret. So I'm going to pull this little rubber dot off. Oops. So this is the hole that requires the Allen wrench, not the hole, the screw. And I'm just going to go ahead and unscrew it. And likely if you have a single-handled sink, it will be something akin to this. So there's just this plastic piece here in the top, and there's another screw. So since you saw there was another screw here, got to get this piece off. So I'm going to go ahead and unscrew that. And then all that we're left with is this piece, which just twists right off. It's I don't know if you can see the threads in there, so it just twists and lifts. It wasn't on very hard anyways. And then we're down to the cartridge. So this is, it has two little screws also. And whenever I take it off, probably some water is going to come spilling out of here. But hopefully after this, there will be, ooh, yes, quite a bit of water. Hopefully after this, there will be no more water coming out of here. I'm so tired of it leaking on the counter and ruining the finish and making ugly water spots. So these are the seals that or the gaskets rather, that no longer work. And this is again a situation where you cannot buy these separately. You have to buy this entire cartridge, which seems like a huge waste, but who am I to say? Maybe this is how they make their money. So whenever I first was getting this, I had to order this piece online, and as you can see, there's writing on here. This told me the number for the cartridge that I needed, so I was able to find it online. So this is what it looks like now. So you want to wipe off some of this excess water and junk, and I clean this really good with steel wool. If there's any deposits or anything, you can get, vinegar actually cleans things really well. So you can clean it off with vinegar, or you can just scrub at it really hard with steel wool. But I'm going to line up the holes here. I'm going to set this on. And now with this new one, I guess they weren't quite sure. It came with two sets of screws. So I'm just going to compare the screws to the old ones and that are in the old cartridge, and it just takes the shorter screws. So that's helpful. Again, this is much better than having to completely replace the water faucet, because if you've looked into it, and I'm sure you have, they are not cheap. And when you're tightening screws on these things, it's kind of recommended that you tighten them equally at the same time. So don't cinch down one super hard and then go and do the other. You should do them approximately at the same time. Okay, so I'm just doing a firm here. I'm not over tightening it once again, because that just will lead to trouble down the road. And this has the gasket on, and then I'm going to slide this piece on here. Now I was just looking at this. I'm going to take this back off. This piece does not fit on here, so this little thing I believe is optional. So I'm just going to remove this screw. Whoops. It was a washer. Well, never mind. I won't need it anyways. Remove that piece. And now I am putting silver piece back on. Silver cover back on. I really look forward to cleaning this up, where all the water spots are gone. Oh, don't want to work with it so hard that it turns the whole thing, but for some reason I couldn't get it to screw on there. Okay. And now I'm going to put this piece back on. Make sure it can move freely, which it can. Okay, fantastic. That's much better. So now I'm just got to get this handle hooked correctly under that piece so that I can get my Allen wrench. Remember, we had this little screw right here, the hex head screw, and I'm just going to screw it back in. This actually moves a lot easier than the old one too. All right, and my little rubber stopper. But you should keep that in a safer place than what I just did, because I almost could have lost it. And turning the water off so that I can turn the water on. Now I'm just going to turn these back on. Since you've had pressure gone from your pipes, Since you've had them turned off, your pipes may jump a little bit whenever you turn it back on, just with the rush of the water coming back in. Don't be alarmed at this. It's a pretty normal thing. All the way to the left for both of them. Don't turn them too hard, but just firmly until they stop. So once again, this is a Grohe faucet, Grohe, but any single-handled faucet is going to have a similar mechanism and a similar way of getting into it if there's not an obvious screw to get it open.